common discourse, if you studied political science or international relations, read the press, governments are committed to security. That's their major goal. They're committed to security against their enemies. There's a couple of things that are not asked. Security for whom and who are the enemies? Well, it turns out that one of the major enemies is you. One of the major enemies of every government is its own population. They're dangerous. We got to know everything about them that we can. We have to control them. We have to make sure they don't get out of hand. Every power system believes this, certainly governments do. And this is demonstrated with spectacular clarity in the, especially in the book, which brings it together. I'd read the reports when they came out, but reading it together in the book is different. You see it much more dramatically. Second point is, whose security are they concerned with? Is it security of the population? Well, certainly not. In fact, after Glenn in the book reports the spectacular lying of Obama, Keith Alexander, high officials, about how this operation is protecting us from, I think the first claim was 54 terrorist attacks were foiled. And then it went down to about a dozen terrorist attacks were foiled. And finally there was a government commission which was appointed to investigate how many terrorist attacks were foiled. They had access to high-level security, internal documents, all the best sources. They did find something. One person had sent $8,000 to Somalia. That's what this massive operation of control of everything you do is about. Well, that tells you whose security is being, that's a good example of whose security is being protected. It's the security of state power from its enemy. And one of the main enemies is the population. Occasionally a ray of light comes through on this. Tribute to Harvard, I'll quote the professor of the science of government at Harvard. I always liked that title. There was a professor of the science of government at Harvard, Samuel Huntington. Back in 1981, he pointed out that, I forget his exact words, something like this, that power has to operate in the dark. When it's exposed to sunlight, it wilts and evaporates. And then he went on at the same time to say that ever since the Truman Doctrine, 1947, it's been necessary to try to convince the American people that we're defending them from the Russians. Of course, we're not. Other goals. But that's what we have to convince them. And that requires that power operate in the dark. That's the reason for secrecy. All of this demonstrates it clearly. You can find it just by searching through declassified documents. If you go through that boring, occasionally illuminating activity, you find that genuine security is almost never an issue. What is the main issue is making sure that power can operate in the dark for its own reasons. Support for state power and support for private power. One of the striking things that emerged from the Snowden revelations, Glenn emphasized in his book, is the extent to which economic espionage is at the core of these massive operations. And not just the United States. Like, for example, Canada, a big mining country, uses these techniques to try to find out what's happening in the Brazilian mining and energy industries. The U.S. does the same. Trading partners and so on. You have to expose everything for the benefit of the forces that really matter, which are not the population. The population has to be controlled, subdued, frightened, misled, and these are among the lessons that I think come out with a dramatic clarity from the revelations and particularly from the book which is put together.
All right, Greg, so thank you so much for that.